Dearest Mother and Father, it has been 2 days since you have banished me from the Fey realm, and much has happened since that time. Not long ago you, against my wishes may I remind you, sent me on a threefold quest. First, to find a best friend. Second, to fall in love with someone who is not my best friend. And thirdly, to experience a profound, heartbreaking loss. And so I found myself walking the roads of the Forgotten Realm until I reached the city of Brineholm at the dawn of its centennial celebration, or perhaps it was its millennial celebration. I'm still not certain how time works around here. As you know, the terrain I am most fond of is the forest, but since I am tasked to learn the ways of the strange beings you call humans and dwarves and halflings, I ventured through the gates of the city. There was much hustle and bustle as the city folk prepared for the festival. There was to be a rare appearance of the royal family, the king and queen of Brineholm, along with their children. While I stood on a barrel, overwhelmed by the crowd of humans, I spotted one of our kind, an elf, at least a half-elf, and he smelled of magic, the wild sort of mystical orders you would expect from a warlock. He was kind enough to greet me and answer my questions. Because he seemed to be in a hurry to be someplace, I followed along and asked if he found it exhausting to be among the city people. However, before he could give me any useful advice, several undead skeleton turtles emerged from the river. We launched into battle, and Hein quickly pelted them with a massive fireball. "There," he said, "I have killed the undead. As you know, Mother and Father, I've never met the undead, so I assumed that when you killed the undead, they were no longer dead. It was very confusing." Sadly, the warlock did not have time to explain, and he bid me farewell. I spent the rest of that morning talking to a duck. Some time later I heard much fanfare. As I made my way to the festival, I once again encountered Hein the warlock. He was surrounded by 3 other strange adventurers, all of whom were new to Brineholm, just as I. There was Christiana Whispermouse, the halfling monk, who seemed terribly depressed due to the recent murder of his master. And then there was Xander, the human paladin, who seemed oddly afraid of hobbits. And finally there was the changeling, whose name I did not know, but I quickly learned that this creature could turn into many things, including a cat, an ostrich, and a giant spider. We all had one thing in common: we were all strangers. Or perhaps there was something more.
"Each of you has a unique quest,"
said the warlock.
"Perhaps impossible if attempted alone, but if you were to band together, who knows what might be accomplished."
I thought that seemed a little too convenient. But before I could question him further, he disappeared into the crowd, and so the 4 of us, newly met, decided to watch the festivities at the foot of the palace. The king and queen, surrounded by their children, waved to the masses, but before any proclamation could be delivered, a wicked-looking human stood upon a parapet, gazing down at the royal family.
"It's my right!"
he spoke in a booming voice. All around us the peasants gasped and said the man's name with a grave tone of doom: Alakar.
"Now,"
said Alakar,
"feel the wrath of the God Hammer."
He cast down a relic, a weapon of immense magical energy. Surely it would destroy us all. But before our fates could be sealed, there was a flash of silver dragon wings crossing in front of our view. And then all went white. I know not how long my mind was void of thought and sense, but when the realm came back into focus, I realized We weren't in Brineholm anymore.